Hi guys, good morning. I'm back again with this third features that we are going to add in our system. For today, we are going to discuss about the high-level diagram about the product features, so you guys will have idea what actually we're trying to build. And this was one of the comment that I received in the YouTube video. So yeah, I think this will help us to understand what actually trying to build. So yesterday we closed this open accounts while adding users. Okay, so today we'll be discussing about the creating the high level diagram about the product feature. So we have different tools to do this. Okay, but I would prefer to have Plantuml, something like this, to draw our diagram. Okay, all right, so let's get started on that and draw this diagram and discuss the things in between while uh, having the diagrams ready. So for this, I'm going to create one file here. Okay, so basically it's a, let's say, payment process uh, that MD. I have my branch ready, which is three. So and then to do this, what we can say that like this is the payment process. Okay, and then we can start. Sorry, we can start with the plant UML. Okay, so plant UML. So the IntelliJ has inbuilt feature for that, so it will render the image, plant UML image for you. So we don't have to worry about anything else. We can just start writing the plant UML. So start UML and in UML. All right. So the starting is like the working with the plant UML is very easy. Okay, if you can see the diagrams from here. So uh, this is, let's say, the example, like Bob to Elise, something like that. So this is how the plant human diagram works. So it's pretty easy and pretty clean to do it. Fine. So let's get started on that. Okay, we will render the diagram side by side, and then we'll draw the what actually trying to build on this. So I'll set up a few things for this. I'll give the auto number, which will actually give the numbers when we are trying to have the communication. So I'll give the title. Which is, let's say, the features we are trying to build here is like inner bank payment transfer. Okay, so this is the main feature that we are trying to do. So basically, your accounts in the same bank, you have multiple accounts from the different users, and then you want to withdraw money, send money, deposit money, and this is what we're trying to build now. So our thing will focus on having the two aspects, uh, having the, let's say, the features kinds of things as well, and then the technical aspects as well. So we'll be using new tools that is needed to develop or, let's say, facilitate our new features as well. And also we'll be discussing about how the actual features gets developed in enterprise level of solutions. Okay, so how we discuss about the things, how the grooming, planning, breakdowns, all of these things happens, and then how you get the confidence about the features, and then you start working on that and you make that feature awesome. So fine, so this is the title that I have added. So let me add add one actor. These are the key provided by the plant email. Okay, so let's say this is the user. As user, I'll give him color, maybe let's say the blue, right? So or red or whatever you like to have. And I would like to have one box. Let's say this is called the payment process. Actually, the whatever we're trying to do inside the payment process, this will be one box. I'll give this crawler as let's say the light green. All right. So to do this, I need to declare the multiple participants, right? So because there will be a multiple components that we'll be dealing with in this payment transfer process. So first participant would be like the validation process. So whenever we get the request, we'll be validating it. So let's just call that as a validation component. Okay, so component. I'm just saying this component because we are not having any external services or that for now. It's just like a different components that are working together to facilitate our business. So second component would be in a payment process would be a charges. So you may have the charges whenever you are trying to have that payment uh, process, right? So you may take the charges from the user. So yeah, let's include the charges as well. And another important thing is like in the payment process is accounting. So you have to make the uh, accounting kinds of things. You have to debit and credit the things, and then maybe you have to make the journal posters and the ledger accounts, this and that. So these are the things that are very crucial whenever you are developing the payment related applications. So you have to do it. These kinds of things are very crucial. So, and the last part would be the database, as let's say the database. Okay, so which is the database component. All right, so yeah, component. All right, so now we have the major components that we have ready as of now. I think this is sufficient to do different kinds of technical stacks in our applications. And also, if we want to integrate with some external services or this and that, we can that as well, like entry and anti-money laundering, AML systems, this and that. So, okay, so basically, there will be a external service integration. So I'll just do the nbox. Okay, so now, the second thing is like we need to have different phases in our, let's say, the process, right? So the first phase would be the validation phase. And then in this validation phase, what we're going to do. So basically, user will send the request to our validation component, um, right? Because I'm not mentioning the request receiver. You can say that, okay, you can have this like the participant or service. Okay, basically this is, and then this is, let's say, the um, request handler. Okay, uh, as request handler. Fine, so this is the request handler. You can define some other kinds of things. I think uh, there are other components as well, not participant database as well. There should be other components. If you like to see, we can check it out. Let's say this is the okay, so this is the boundary. We can use the boundary, okay, for the actor to come. So yeah, basically we can use the boundary for this, right? So yeah, so and the user will send request to the boundary, or let's say the user boundary for now, as the request handler. So uh, okay, or let's say boundary as a request receiver. So yeah, fine, all right. So request user will send the uh, thanks to our which component. This is the request receiver. I mean, like the component that will take care of the external request. So yeah, fine. So user will send the request, which is fine. So user will send the request to us, and then what we can say that is like send the sends the payment request. Okay. Now, I don't think we do have. Okay, let's have some note on this as well. So, let's say the note of request is and note. All right. So in this case, what user will do is like uh, send receive request data as mentioned in contract. So basically, what we expect to have is like uh, the receive data as mentioned in contract. So we defined the contract for the control layer last year, right? So we expect to have these kinds of data as part of the request handlers. So this is it for this particular node. And then we move to the next phase. So it should be like the, sorry, this is the request phase. Okay, request received. So request handle phase. And then the second phase would be the validation phase. So the someone who receives the request will will trigger your validation component to do the validation. Eventually, we have to do it. So this is the validation phase. Sorry, the request phase will do send things to the validation phase. So this is the second thing that we have to do. And what is that? The validation phase is this validation. So request phase is request. So in my second phase, all right, we did like the no, this is not the in email. Okay, so this was a problem. Yeah, we did this. Now you can we can have, let's say, what the asks for validation, right? So yeah, asks for validation, and then you can also note over a validation is like what validation you want to do here, and note. I think we're going to do the validation for, let's say, sender and receiver accounts exist, and also maybe yeah, we'll be also checking the sender and receiver account status valid, right? And then another important will be a valid check or something like that. Okay, so yeah, these are the normal validation that we have to do, uh, or maybe the limit of the transfer. So you have to take care of that as well. So these are the things that you can include as part of your validations. And after that, this is the validation phase, right? So once this is done, we can move to the charges phase. All right. So, going back to the charges, the validation, after we complete the validation, we ask for charges, and then which is, let's say, ask for charge calculation, right? And then let's see the diagram as well, side by side. So it looks something like this. Uh, And then if you're sending requests to this, where is that? You're sending requests to the charges. So uh, note over charges. Let me just add a couple of notes over charges. These are the high level things. Okay, so and note. And what we can do is, yeah, calculate charges. If so, calculate charges if applied, right? So if there is any charges for that particular transfer, you have to calculate the charge. If not, so make the charge entry, right? So you also make the charge entry, something like that. So, okay, so we are done in this phase as well. So the second last phase that we are here is like the accounting phase. So this is one of the important phase that we're going to have in the payment transfer uh, application. So this is, let's say, once the charges is done, because you have to deduct money from the sender. If this is a credit request, you have to deduct money from the sender and credit to the receiver, right? So maybe you are going to make sure of that the person has the balance in his account, including the charges. So once we've done the charges, we are going to do the accounting. So this is the ask for accounting, okay? And note over the accounting is a note. What we're going to do, the note over accounting. So basically, it would be like maybe you are going to make the uh, journal entries. So yeah, make journal voucher entries because you have to do that. And then there will be different kinds of vouchers if different kinds of accounts that is involved in this process. Or there will be very simple journal voucher entry as well. And then maybe you also doing the ledger accounting, which is with the okay. So we also need to have the ledger account, and eventually the ledger account is something that reflects your balance, so your current balance. So we have to do it, and also this is what the how the current balance is adjusted. So yeah, so we are going to make the immediate reflect on the person's balance, but if there is any system accounts or other accounts involved in that processing, then we don't have to worry. Like the main thing is like what I think we have to worry here is you have to make sure that the balance is deducted from the sender's account in that same transaction so that we cannot send the transaction again without the balance, right? So other things we can do this asynchronously in the background if needed. So that is something we'll introduce here while actually working on this later. And last will be, let's say, repository phase or the storage phase, where we want to store all of these details in the repository. So basically, after once are done with the accounting, then we will say the database to please store, ask for storage, ask for store, something like that. So please store this, and mm, what the note? I don't think would have any note for this. So it's asks for store, and then it stores the thing. So if everything goes well, I'm just explaining the, let's say, the correct flow diagram. Maybe it will break from somewhere here in line number one, or in its process two, or process three, or process four, or even process five. So, but basically, we're trying to run in same transaction. So, if there is any failure in any of these processes, then we don't have to worry because this is a single transaction that we're taking care of, and the transaction will take care of that. And while developing these different features in our applications, we will be encountering the different kinds of things, and we'll be discussing about that. For example, let's say the how we are going to maintain these validation rules, or if we are going to have the any caching mechanism in our system. Okay, how the business logic, or let's say business all of things will be um, encapsulated, okay, something like that. So, uh, as a feature wise, it's not that much of complex solution that we're trying to build, but the user is something that it could be a ATM machine, or a mobile API, or desktop applications, or web application, or let's say, yeah, there's something that runs on the browser. But only the thing is like communications way is HTTP. So we are going to receive the request on HTTP, and we are going to handle that payment in a single transaction. That's it. So we don't care about the what will be the source of this call. And also, there are so many tools that we'll use to facilitate this. We have just started and from the very basics, but while we do and develop different kinds of things, okay, we'll encounter different tools, and we'll use that different tools as well, which will make this process quite fun. Thank you, guys. I think I'm going to push this diagram in that three repository. You can check these things from there, and then I'll see you in next video. Thank you so much.